Well, hi there, everyone. This is Dr. Pan Gabriel with my latest talk entitled Our Biggest Mistake. Our Biggest Mistake. From the moment we were born, my friends, we were, of course, spoon fed, as should be, and this continued till we graduated, whether from high school or universities or colleges, when suddenly we were now expected to grow up, find jobs, and provide for ourselves and our family units, our mates, our children, etc. But, how can one expect to suddenly, at the age of 22 to 25, just because one has a diploma now, or one has finished an apprenticeship, to suddenly overcome 25 years of dependency, brainwashing, slash programming, slash outright hypnosis? Yes, most of it benign, but some of it is otherwise. And how can one be expected to overcome all these years of dependency and programming and go west, young man or woman? To be politically correct. Woe unto us if we're not. So how can we be expected to go west, young man or woman, and conquer suddenly, just because we now have finished a trade or we got a diploma? Well, for the proverbial 99% of us, and this is proverbial, I don't know the percentage, it might be 90, might be 80, might be 70, please. Don't get on my case about that. Let's be mature about it. We're talking proverbially here. And throughout the article, when I say 99%, I am referring to the proverbial most of us, okay? So for most of us, this proves mission, misery, hell, etc. Also, for those of us like myself who were drafted into the insane and criminal military machines against our wills, the problem is hugely compounded. I was lucky. I stood my ground at the tender age of 19 to 22, the years in the desert, and I declared myself a non-combatant, which resulted in me being sentenced to death by firing squad. You heard right, my friends. I was saved in the nick of time by my commandant. I was sentenced to death by firing squad for being a non-combatant in a war zone. In the resource section of this YouTube, you can listen to the audio or read the thrilling saga. Okay, the URLs will be there. During the years I spent in the desert in the military machine, I witnessed the following regarding my fellow soldiers. Most of them bawled their eyes out at night during the first 3 to 6 weeks. I mean, literally crying out for their mommy. When the lights went out at night and the cloak of darkness hid their shame, quote unquote. They had simply not been taught how to be independent adults. Not their fault. And the other thing, second thing I witnessed, after the first 6 weeks when we were allowed alcohol, most of my fellow soldiers hit the bottle very, very hard to numb the insanity of being in the insane criminal military machine. I don't blame them. I don't fault them. I don't know how I withstood that. Well, but I've always been, one who follows my heart. I did not just, like a sheep, follow the herd. And if need be, I would stand my ground and go against the grain. I'd done that in all my tender years, 19 to 22, frankly, throughout my life. So I had a friend, and he and I were the only exceptions to hitting the bottle. But he gambled. That was his addiction. A tangled web we weave. Anyway, I was declared by the commandant as the guru of the battalion. Oh dear, dear. Why? Whenever anyone had a life dilemma, he would send them to me. Because you see, for security reasons, they had to read our letters home. And he had read a couple of mine, and oh well. I guess since I started talking, I had some access to some wisdom. Why or how? I have no idea. And anyway, as I say, my friend and I were the only ones who did not hit the bottle hard. I listened once in a while. We drank a beer here and there. But that was it, a social drink here and there. As opposed, in contrast to most of the others who would go to bed every night around midnight, stoned out of their minds. So, as a result, most of our fellow soldiers became habitual drunks and or alcoholics to some degree. So you see, a large portion of the male population who has been in the military, and actually out of the military as well, with the stress of modern life, are actually alcoholics, but are in denial and not labeled as such because they don't get out of control like the labeled alcoholics. But that's only because the labeled alcoholics have the addiction to a great degree, pushing them out of control. But most regular pub attenders are controlled alcoholics. That's a sad truth. I'm sorry if I offend anyone. Don't mean to. But, it's what I've observed for decades now as a professional therapist, as a professional holistic nutritionist, which means mind, body, and spirit. That's what I observed in and out of my clinic. So I'm sorry, I do not mean to offend anyone, just stating my observations. And frankly, my colleagues agree with me 100%. So these 2 points alone, there were many, many more, set the stage for disaster and extreme misery in life for humanity. So, to be specific, what is our biggest mistake? What is our biggest mistake? The title of this talk. Well, here it is. We metaphorically never let go of suckling our mother's tit. Okay? Plain and simple. We grow up from the moment we're born to be codependent. And suddenly, just because society says, well, it's now time for you to get out the house and be independent and earn a living, you want to choke up and die. How the heck are you going to do that when you've been trained to do the exact opposite? Okay? So, that's the few antidotes. Our power, my friends, is within, not without. Our power is within, not without. My invitation to us is start right now cultivating that power any way that you choose. Okay? This may be inner reflection, outer action, doing what you love, communing with nature. This always does it for me. Whenever I retreat to the African bush, I immediately enter into an altered state of balance, like God force balance, a universal bliss, a happiness, health, peace of mind, inner and outer strength, etc. But your modality may be, as I say, music, dancing, engineering, taking care of gorillas. Hey, you get the idea. Whatever blows your hair back, not what some guru tells you to. Unless, of course, that resonates with you. Heck, then go for it. Like your self-actualization depends on it. Because it does, my friends. It does. You will always be an unhappy wretch unless you're following your bliss, my friends. And me too, all of us. Unless we're singing our metaphorical song, we will always be unhappy wretches. And by metaphorical song I mean following our bliss, manifesting our unique gift that we were all born with, expressing it. My normal disclaimer here, I'm talking about normal people, not those who are under doctors or psychiatric care. So, in closing, never ever, my friends, is my invitation to us all. Never accept misery or hell or defeat. Take whatever thought or word or action or feeling you need in order for you to succeed at whatever you have set for your goal. And do not stop till you have arrived. Once again, our power is within, not without. When we rely on others, we become mindless automatons or robots, merely marching to another song, as the great philosopher said. In contrast, when we rely on our own inner power, we shine. We illuminate the world with our brilliance. And the world loves us and rewards us for it. Not that we seek or care for the world's pat on the back, my friends. No, sir. No, madam. We march to our own drum. Always. By the way, mainstream science has now proven all this. You can take a look at it in the resource section of this YouTube talk. That's it for today, my friends. I love you all. This is Dr. Pan saying goodbye till next time.